Good evening, I'm Corey Nordstrom, and thanks for joining us. The guilty ruling against one of the two Thunder Bay police officers involved in the Police Act hearing into the 2015 death of Stacey DeBungy is garnering mixed reaction today. The lawyer for the complainants say the adjudicator's finding of unconscious racial bias is historic, but the head of the local police association says he doesn't believe that Staff Sergeant Sean Harrison is racist in any way. Lee Noonan has more.
It's historic, right? It's not every day that you get a decision that says a police officer was racist.
I can say 100% that he's not a racist person.
Staff Sergeant Sean Harrison, on the left, was found guilty of discreditable conduct for his role in the 2015 investigation. The other officer charged, Sergeant Sean Whipple, on the right, was found not guilty of neglect of duty and discreditable conduct due to his limited role in the case. Harrison pleaded guilty to neglect of duty at the outset of the Police Act hearing. Local Police Association President Colin Woods says he knows Harrison well as the staff sergeant on his patrol unit. He points out that Harrison owned the neglect charge from the beginning, but Woods was surprised and troubled by the finding that Harrison was guilty of discrimination.
I've never, ever seen him in the time that I've worked with him, known him to ever show that or display that or treat anybody differently because of who they are and their backgrounds.
Asha James, the lawyer representing the complainants, says it was really important to the family to see Harrison held accountable for his conduct.
The evidence is perfectly clear that from the time they pulled Stacey DeBungy from the river, he had made up his mind about how he had died. And because he did that, he just didn't take really any investigative steps.
Complaints about the DeBungy investigation spurred an OIPRD probe that culminated in the Broken Trust report, which found there to be systemic racism in the Thunder Bay Police Service's investigations into the deaths of Indigenous people. The report itself and the fact that Harrison had never read it were highlighted in the adjudicator's decision.
It was never directed to us at the service by anyone in the leadership capacity to say, we expect you or we're ordering you to read this. I mean, it's a huge document itself, right? So how many people have read it or even glanced at it, I don't know.
Although Woods disputes some of the report's conclusions, he says he would recommend officers read it. For her part, James says it would be a really simple starting point when training officers on major case management. She says the police service needs to go further to address systemic racism.
It's not an isolated incident. It's not a one-off. It is truly emblematic of a real systemic issue within the Thunder Bay Police Service.
The sentencing phase of the hearing is scheduled for September, with Harrison facing possible penalties ranging from losing banked time to termination. Lee Noonan, TBT News.